Hello and welcome to my channel. I am San D Fun, and today I've decided to show you another anime poll, and that is of Dragon Ball. Alright, this is the poll as you can see already. If Goku didn't exist, who would you like as the main protagonist of Dragon Ball or Z? Now, basically, it's just the alternate characters who could have been the protagonist of Dragon Ball series. It also includes uh, some from the team, and just like see, all of them are from the team. Actually, I think I should call it team. I don't know what to call other than that. Anyways, the first option is Yamcha. Now, first of all, let me tell you one thing. Most of them would stay villains without Goku's influence. And technically speaking, most of them are indeed villains. I'll be describing them one by one to just tell you why I had picked them as protagonists. And protagonists don't really mean they have to be the hero or they cannot be the villain. No, it's not like that. We also have some villains as the protagonist. Protagonist means primary importance. So anyways, and the thing that I wanted to make sure was there would be no Goku. And if Goku didn't exist, that means he would definitely not exist. That's the first thing. So if we're moving on to Yamcha, let's move on now. And here is our guy Yamcha. So the reason I picked him, well, it's quite simple. The first time Goku encountered Yamcha, he was a thief. And technically, okay, now just because he's thief doesn't make him the protagonist immediately. The fact is, he has got a bit of the protagonist look. If you just look at his face, first of all, look at the scratch marks, look at that. You'll probably get the, if someone doesn't watch Dragon Ball, I think many people would mistake him for Goku, for sure. Yeah, it's totally possible because if you are not watching Dragon Ball, there are many characters who almost look the same according to Toriyama's drawing. So it is totally possible for Yamcha to look like Goku. The first is the physical appearance, which I already mentioned about Yamcha. The next is the first encounter. Okay, now if you're watching Dragon Ball, you'll obviously know this. He obviously was he has mastery over one technique, which is the Roga Fufuken. And that is he has got the wolf style, and it will be pretty interesting to see him battle more of the wolf style. And yes, he does have that protagonist feel altogether, and being like he's just wanting to have girls, and that makes him pretty normal, by the way. A normal person, a flawed guy, exactly the thing that you would want in a protagonist. He totally fit that scenario. He's also the one who is gonna make you laugh. The comedy, that's also qualified. Another thing, he is not bad. He's not that bad in battle. Many people think maybe that Yamcha isn't doing well, but he technically isn't weak. He's obviously improving, but the fact is, Goku is on a different level. For that reason, he's just not able to catch up that well. That's the only thing. But if Goku didn't exist, that was a different story. He probably could have been one of the main important characters, if not the main. For that reason, and he could there could be a lot of changes, by the way. He can also become a protagonist who would be, who probably could be the one beating Tien after some trials. He can make you know that life isn't easy as it looks like. Obviously, the fact with Bulma, that part, just leave it. Just think of him as a protagonist, that's it. And he's just a pretty flawed guy, and that's right. That actually makes makes pretty common sense if you think the other way for him to a protagonist. Okay, the next one then. And it's none other than Kuririn. Kuririn or Kuririn, I don't know how to say. Anyways, I generally am comfortable with Kuririn because I watched the Japanese, so I generally call him that. Okay, anyways, now he was the first ever rival of Goku. And technically, though, let me just say, you won't be able to deny him. He's got potential. He can easily become the main protagonist, and he previously had more power compared to Goku. If we talk about the power level, he's got that. He was um, previously, he was over Goku, you can say. Okay, except the speed, yeah. Goku is a Saiyajin, but just like Yamcha, he's also a human. And he's also flawed, by the way. Yeah, that flawness and that human nature, that totally makes him a pretty good choice for a protagonist if Goku didn't exist. So, yes, you won't be able to deny the fact. He can probably have a different story if without Goku's existence. He would definitely be training under Tenroshi except there would be no Goku. And probably there is a chance that he would be not only the comedian, but he can also grow stronger and stronger. Yeah, with Goku, he definitely did grow stronger, and yes, even alone, he would be probably the one who just slack off and all. But yes, there would be trials when he has to gain more power. I mean, just look at it. He wasn't weak, first of all. In the entire Dragon Ball series, it was that there were some people who were far stronger, just like Tien. I mean, there is no way he would be able to beat someone like Tien. But yes, it's totally possible with plot armor. I mean, if you give him plot armor, he can easily sign as a pretty good protagonist. And just a bald head, he could be pretty much a symbol of the Dragon Ball franchise. So yes, I just think he could be sort of looking like Saitama, except he's not. He's flawed. That's another thing. Yeah, the flawness is the factor. Comedy, yes, he is into that. So he has got all those characteristics. I'm not saying Goku is bad, but I'm just saying if Goku didn't exist. So, anyways, do you agree with my choice? It's up to you. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. Now, do any of you know him? I mean, just look at it, looking like a cartoon. Except he was in Dragon Ball and had got no powers. Except he was a good disguiser. And technically fighting skills, yeah, he could technically fight, but he's not powerful. Definitely he won't even stand a chance against Kuririn, or even the weaker characters would be able to take him down. He's not even that good to compete with any fighter, by the way. Any of the Z fighters, by the way, Z fighters are way too strong, way too superhuman. This guy is just won't stand a chance. So why am I picking this guy? Well, this is a wildcard entry, by the way. Oolong is technically yes. The reason for that, Oolong is a pretty good comedian, and in the world of Z fighters, he could probably serve a different role. He could be mainly we can have just like the Rock Lee and the Ninja Pal series. We can have the parody series where he just tries to become like the protagonist and like fails every time, trying to act like yeah. And obviously Z Fighters team would be Z Fighters team, but it would be more of a parody. For the parody person, I think he would make a pretty good protagonist. What do you feel about it? I'm not telling he's gonna fight all those bastards, but yes, if he's gonna fight, there will be some plot armor. Yeah, he'll be relying fully on the plot armor and, well, that part, which is the, yeah, I mean, the people do the job while he just stands and does the heroic things. He's got no use, but except he acts like the hero. He's sort of like that, I'm saying. Yeah. And for the comedy, I mean, if you want Dragon Ball to be a parody series, he could become a pretty good mascot. He'd be a pretty good reason for a protagonist. For that reason, I picked him as the option. So yes, in the poll you can vote for him if you like this idea though. Now we're coming to this guy, Piccolo. Okay, now why did I pick Piccolo? Well, now see. You all probably would be a fan of Piccolo. I mean, Piccolo fans out there. Or, even if you want him to be a protagonist, there is a lot of support from you guys that probably feel that. But, here is the twist. Just think about a situation where Goku didn't exist. Things are gonna go just like they would probably, but The difference would be right here. See, the villains may win, the villains may lose, doesn't matter. So there could be some villains winning, just like the uh, uh, Red Ribbon Army in the Dragon Ball, or maybe Lover. Anyways, the one who comes later dominates definitely. That will be the case. Probably if Goku and the protagonist, or probably Kuririn, even if Kuririn were to be able to, I mean, would be of any use. Anyways, still Piccolo dominates totally because of the ability. Even though Tien wins, I mean Tien definitely won in the tournament. So well, anyways, Kuririn also would end up losing to Tien anyways. So technically, though, it doesn't change really. But with Piccolo, though, even if Tien were evil, I mean, even if the villains won, Piccolo would still be able to beat anyone. He's technically gonna be dominate the earth. Yes. And when I'm talking about Piccolo, the first option that comes in our mind is Piccolo Daima. Obviously, I have that image, by the way. Okay. So he's technically a Demon King, and he'll take over the entire earth. So basically, the anime could be like a short film. It won't really be considered anime if Piccolo were the main protagonist. It will be the story about the demon who was previously sealed by a Mafuba. And Tenroshi probably could also try using the Mafuba, by the way. Except, yeah, it may work, it may not work. Probably things could be a bit different with Goku's absence. Because, if you mess with time, if you watch some sci-fi, you probably had heard, if you mess with time, many things can change. So it's pretty unpredictable what may happen. We cannot say anything for sure. But one thing is for sure, that Piccolo will definitely destroy Earth no matter what. Whatever the time travel takes, Piccolo is gonna dominate. And it probably would be a unsettling movie about a demon king taking over Earth and dominating it. It would be pretty interesting. And the spoiler, the Demon King would also fall. Yes, the Demon King would fall. And how would he fall? Well, the Saiyajins are gonna take care of him. That's right. So, as I said, he would fall. The Saiyajins are gonna take care of him after some years, when he's just the king, technically, and just proudly showing off his powers. Or not showing off his powers, but rather dominating the world. He is gonna be destroyed by the Saiyajins for sure. I mean, Raditz himself would destroy Piccolo. Because you already have seen, Piccolo won't be of any match against Raditz unless he's paired with Goku. So yes, the Saiyajins dominate at the last fight. So anyways, would you like Piccolo to be the main villain? Would be interesting. But yeah, he definitely is gonna fall. Anyways. Okay, the next option is Tien. So, what do you feel about him? Tien, one thing is for sure. He's definitely gonna be the villain, first of all. Because it's pretty obvious. Previously though. I mean, he's gonna be starting as a protagonist with like the anti-hero type. He'll be more of an anti-hero because anyways, he changes his mind later anyways. Even though it would be with Goku or not, doesn't really matter. He'll change because he's destined to. I mean, the Dragon Ball franchise would change him anyways. I mean, that's my feeling at least. Even if Goku didn't exist, he'll definitely, at one time, he would recognize that his master's ways are bad. So he would definitely be changing his ways later. Probably Mutenroshi's words, or maybe the other. Most obviously, the Mutenroshi's words had the most impact, probably, I think. Yeah, Goku's definitely did, but even without Goku, I feel he can change. What do you feel about it? Anyways, I pretty much think he would end up to be the good guy. Or even if he does, he probably could also be the one who could actually beat Piccolo. I mean, he could be the only protagonist who would obviously have to being the strongest human on Earth. And I don't think just for being the strongest doesn't give you the right to become the protagonist. Actually, the Dragon Ball can see so. I mean, you can probably see his childhood in this case, from childhood to how he grew old. It could be his own separate story. He could be a pretty good protagonist that way. I mean, his story to becoming the strongest human on Earth, and he may even be able to take down Piccolo. Depends on circumstances. See, he was definitely the one to beat Goku. So yes, it's totally possible if Mutendroshi focused on him, he could totally have the power to take down Piccolo. He could have been, yeah, he definitely used Makuba, but Makuba takes your life, as you had already seen in Dragon Ball. And he probably could have done the exact same thing. But yes, it was imperfect. It didn't work that way. So technically, yes, there was a lot of that, and yes, he was also the one surviving in the Piccolo incident. That is. So there is totally a big possibility for him to stand out as the main protagonist to take down Piccolo Daimao. Just because he that time had the strength to take down Goku. And that's right. For that reason, it's possible for him to beat Piccolo if things were a bit different. And from beating Piccolo though, by the way, the Saiyajin part, yes, he definitely won't be able to take down the Saiyajins, that's for sure, in the later arcs. But there is still a little bit of possibility that he can take down Piccolo if he has got the plot armor. It will still look realistic, by the way. It won't look like it's being forced, no. It will have some realism to it. And he can also prove himself human wins against demons sort of thing. And he's also his path to redemption. That itself would be a great story all along. It would make for a different kind of story, I think. So without Goku, he seems to be another pretty good protagonist choice. Do you agree with me or not? It's up to you. Yeah, the things are different. I mean, the way you are gonna see it, I'm seeing it a different way. That's how I had made the poll. Okay, now I'm finally jumping to the next. Yeah, it's Vegeta. So anyways, well, for Vegeta, there is just obviously you know what I mean. Okay, he would definitely be taking over Earth for sure. There is no competition. First of all, Raditz, let me just say what's gonna happen. The scenario is, you obviously know he's not gonna be the hero. He could maximum be the anti-hero. Or, technically, he'll be more on the villain side. Yeah, he won't even be considered anti-hero by the way. Because the circumstances are gonna be different in this case. And yeah, which totally makes him a pretty grey character. Not even grey, more the villainous grey you can say. So with him being the protagonist, we can see his childhood from being the Saiyajin, and Dragon Ball will be totally skipped, let me just say. It will be straight up this, see. Maybe Piccolo wins, maybe Tien wins. Doesn't matter. Even if the Demon King Piccolo wins, or even if Tien wins, in both circumstances, still he's gonna be facing someone. Tien, be it the strongest human, definitely won't be able to stand a chance against Vegeta. I mean, the humans don't stand a chance against Saiyajin no matter how strong they are. Plus, Vegeta is the prince of all the Saiyajins. I don't even think they will be able to stand a chance against Raditz. Piccolo definitely won't stand a chance against Raditz. So, technically speaking, I don't think they will be of any competition. Okay, even if they are stronger, they would be hardly able to beat Raditz, technically. And Tien is not the type to spare someone like Piccolo, just like Goku did. He may spare, may not spare, it depends on how the anime plays out. In that scenario, that is. Yeah, even if we say he does spare, he did actually play out like what happened with Goku, Rise to be beaten by Tien and Piccolo. But at the last, there is no way Tien will be able to take down Vegeta. And also, there will be no rivalry or none of those jealousy of Vegeta. I mean, Vegeta technically thinks that he would just take humans as inferior, or the entire demon race. I mean, the entire Namekian race. I mean, Piccolo is a Namekian, so human and Namekian, that would be the way he's gonna see it. He's not gonna see them as Saiyajins. He's not gonna have that excitement probably with them. He would be able to beat them, and definitely without Goku. It's pretty obvious. I mean, Vegeta was the first encounter with Vegeta. Vegeta was taken down by the combination of Goku plus Gohan plus Kuririn plus a bit from Yajirobe, etc. And to think he's gonna be taken down without Goku, without Goku's absence, there is no way no one be able to beat him in the first fight. Tien beat Piccolo. No matter how strong they are, they're definitely gonna lose. See, Piccolo was dead. It was pretty much in that part. I mean, they didn't even get the chance to take down Nappa. And technically, see, Vegeta was the one killing Nappa. They lost to the, what do we say, call them, what about those creatures where I forgot their names? Saiba something. Anyways, doesn't matter. Cyberman, I think. Cyberman. Okay, so they were technically taken down by the minions. So there was obviously no way for them to stand a chance against Vegeta. I mean, the Z fighters couldn't, even without Goku. So technically speaking, Vegeta wins there. Vegeta would beat, and yes, definitely one thing could be done. That is, the battle would be pretty epic. It won't be easy for Vegeta. It would be one of the strongest battles. But definitely he would forget. It would be about his story. Him taking down Earth, the final defense of Earth shattered by Vegeta, and he takes over Earth. So well, Earth is dominated by him. Now he goes back to Frieza. His job would be to take down Frieza. That is gonna be his main goal, because that's how it played out. The entire Namekian arc, I think, yeah. And exactly that's exactly the thing gonna happen. But except, he won't be able to stand a chance against Frieza, and Frieza would come out as the victor anyways. Him again. Also another thing, there'll be no Trunks. Trunks won't exist in this fusion. So obviously you probably understand what's gonna happen. Again, this guy's gonna fall to Frieza. There's no way he'd be able to beat Frieza even if he's Super Saiyajin. I mean, he wasn't able to attain Super Saiyajin that time. He obviously saw it from Goku, but he would definitely look for stronger opponents. But without Goku, I don't even think he would be able to. He definitely didn't attain Super Saiyajin at that time. Goku was the one attaining and defeating Frieza. So technically, Vegeta won't be able to beat Frieza. He won't be able to. I don't hardly believe he would be able to stand against the prior to the full form of Frieza. Pretty much. He definitely won't stand a chance. That's for sure. He would get beaten and killed by Frieza. Pretty humiliated, pretty much. And Saiyajins are down. Yeah, those Saiyajins could be shown as a tragic race, by the way, in that series altogether. But at last, that's what happens. So, how do you like this scenario? The plan, that is. Anyways, now I will finish it because this video is getting too long. And the final one here is Future Trunks. So obviously he's got the Protagonist feel. The first time he comes, he takes down Frieza and Cold like a boss. So technically, if Future Trunks were to be made Protagonist, he pretty much has the Protagonist feel. We can only see the future. That's right, and we can see him fight against all of them together. It's gonna be the dystopian world. So he's gonna give us that dystopian vibe. The one man fighting and also the survivors. It will be the apocalyptic one. I mean, it will be pretty interesting to see that. Also going back to the past to take care of Frieza and Cole. And technically though, Frieza would definitely take care of Earth by that time. By that time, Frieza would dominate the Earth. And technically speaking, we can see him take down Frieza in the past. So technically speaking, yes, he wins against them. Though he won't be able to do anything to Cell. For Cell is a different story. There will be no way he'd be able to beat Cell because he needed the help of the heroes. Yeah, he would definitely get the help of heroes, but without Goku, I hardly believe there'll be any way to take down Cell. Anyways, because Goku is definitely the overpowered protagonist, and definitely without him, it's pretty tough to take down Cell. Yeah, Vegeta could definitely do that job, but the problem is, the one who beat Cell was, spoiler alert, Gohan. Though with a bit of help from Goku. So if Goku doesn't exist, Gohan would not exist. And Vegeta. Vegeta would just go too full of himself. Get too full of himself. And technically speaking, he's obviously gonna dominate Earth by that time. Or even if it doesn't, okay, I forgot. It would be under Frieza. Because after beating the Saiyajins, he probably at one time would take over Earth for sure. And you know what's gonna happen. Frieza alone, that is, in that scenario. And Vegeta would be killed by that time, and I don't think any of the Z fighters would survive by that time, so technically Trunks can only manage one thing, take down Frieza. Or make him the part of the team to take down Cell, obviously, which I don't think Frieza would agree. Even if he does, I don't think he would be able to beat Cell anyways, because Cell is on a whole different level. And once he gets the complete form, which I think he would in this scenario, there is no way he can beat Cell. So technically speaking anyways, that scenario aside, I don't think he would even come back to Earth. It will just be him there. And also no Gohan existing. Maybe the future will be a bit different with no Gohan existing, but technically he would be the one-man army facing against those androids and everything. Anyways, so do you like the choices, the alternate stories that can revolve around this protagonist? If you like it, definitely comment and be sure to like the video. I'd like to know your opinions. Please feel free to share them. Thank you.